When you come up on the streets, when you've seen life behind bars, when you've been on your deathbed, you have a different appreciation to life. And to your point, I've never lost the state of play. God still has me here for a purpose, with a purpose, so I can create things on purpose.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Love Gangster. I'm Adrian Boysel, and today I have a great interview with a very great guest, Mr. JJ Villar. Good to have you here, brother.
You actually said it right. My
Yes,
friend, JJ
yes.
Villar.
Good to
Thank you
have
so
you here.
much. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm excited to, one, enjoy your energy and add as much value as I can to you and your community.
Oh, I'm a big fan. He is a performer, entertainer, author, transformational coach. I got to hang out with him at the last Secret Knock event, learned a lot about him and his intelligence and his performance abilities, and just very, very talented person. And now you have Lot, right? Lot University.
Absolutely. Yes.
Give us a little bit more background on that.
So Lot University is an idea that started a years ago that through divine connections and God's will has now started to come into fruition. Stands for Legends of Today, Legacies of Tomorrow. It is the new wave of education for teens and young adults so that they get properly prepared for life. You know, I used to be a part of the educational system as an educator, as a teacher,
Wow.
and I'm also a high school dropout. So I am a product of a failed product that is breeding a whole bunch of sheep for people that can go through a 4-year a university.
That's right.
I spent a whole lot of money to walk away in debt with a piece of paper that could potentially get you a job with no promise of a successful future.
That's right.
And so Lot University is going to concentrate on what are these pillars that our youth need right now to truly make a difference. If you think of the place that we are here right now in Secret Knock, we're around business owners, entrepreneurs,
Millionaires and billionaires.
billionaires, athletes, artists, and they all had different ways to success.
That's right.
A lot of them weren't necessarily through the traditional schooling system.
That's right.
And we're in a different time right now. So Lot University is designed to help people understand from financial literacy, emotional intelligence, leadership skills, and taking different pillars that are truly going to prepare them for what the real world has in store for them.
That's powerful. Two things. So what we both have in common is the high school dropout. I didn't drop out intentionally. I was dropped an hour away from my school where I went and was like, good luck to you. And I was homeless on the streets, right? Got a sales job the very next day out of the newspaper, went to AM, PM, called, got a cell phone job, and just went right to work and just never really looked back since, right? So I want to say that because you see two people here that didn't get to finish high school, that didn't get the same opportunity, and that didn't disqualify us from having the life beyond our dreams. I have talked about this recently where, like, if I was looking at my 12-year-old self, if I was back to my 12-year-old me and looking at who I am today, I'm way further than I would ever imagine. I'm sure you could probably relate to that. Like, I never imagined I would be at the level that I am today.
You are spot on, because I can honestly say that I am as successful as I am right now because I didn't go through traditional schooling.
That's right.
You know, I was able to be blessed to be an elite performer, one of the best in the world, to do what I do, travel the world with some amazing superstars, biggest names in music, biggest platforms on earth. And how did I do that? Because of the hustle, the tenacity, the skills that I learned from not being in school, from not only being a high school dropout, but being a runaway. I was that degenerate kid that your parents would actually tell you to stay away from.
Yeah.
But it was within that I found the entrepreneurial skills that I needed, and that heart, that drive, that conditioning, that discipline that right now most youth are being overlooked, and they don't actually get those skills. We're not training our young adults on how to truly survive. And I think that the streets, and I'm sure that you can attest to this, we learn things that they don't teach in school. And that's what birthed Lot University and Unleashed Teens.
Yeah, and that creates a lot of hunger inside of a person.
Absolutely.
Right? So is Lot already open and available to people? So ready? Is it ready or is it launched yet?
So this is the 3 to 5 year plan right now. The very first thing that just launched right now is Unleashed Teens. It's unleashedteens.com. And so the premise of it is it's going to have 3 different chapters, if you will. Unleashed Teens is going to be like the 13 to 17 mark.
Yeah.
And then Legends is going to be the 18 to 25 mark.
Okay.
And then Legacies is actually going to be our nonprofit sector that is going to benefit younger kids that are either underprivileged, troubled youth, special needs, where both the Legends and the Unleashed Teens can help fund the legacies so that we can either put school supplies in them if they so choose to go to school. We can feed them and their families, or we can pay their way so that they can go through our program to learn the skills to truly be masterful in life.
Well, and I think for people like us that, and there's going to be people who watch it that had similar upbringings, if not worse than us, right? That fire, tenacity, the drive, the things that we had to overcome are coming out of our survival mode, right? And then we get into our adulthood and we find some success, and all of a sudden we get into girlfriends and fiancés and marriages, and then we find out that we've been in this survival mentality, and now we're not in this survival mentality anymore, and we have all these shortcomings and pains and traumas that we've never worked on. What was some of that for you along your journey where like, you came out all the challenge and you finally like hit your first success, and now it's like, cool, I made it. But then you have to go back now and do all that deep work to kind of heal. Because now I find it, for me personally, I find it harder to be as motivated and driven and as, not purposeful, but just as that survival mentality was such a great motivator for me of just, well, I got to eat today. I just got to eat today. Well, I could take a year off and I don't need to worry about eating. Right. And so that element's not there anymore. How have you been able to kind of heal, but also still harness that power that you get from that survival mentality?
That's an excellent question. And if I really think about where my life was and where it is and where it's going, I spent majority of my life as a performer, as a choreographer, dancer, actor, director. And I did that because not only was I good at it, but I spent years, decades perfecting a craft so that I wouldn't be seen by other people. Myself. Yeah. I created this identity that people could relate to, and I thought that if I could become anybody but me, people would like me.
That's right.
And that was detrimental when I ended my career out of an injury in 2018. I was performing at Cirque du Soleil, Michael Jackson in Las Vegas. It ended my career, and long story short, it took me down a negative rabbit hole where I attempted suicide. I ended up in jail, and coming out of it, I got into the whole personal development space through Tony Robbins and other masterful, transformational gurus, if you will. I don't like using that word, but for the premise of time. And what I learned is that when you come up on the streets, when you've seen life behind bars, when you've been on your deathbed, you have a different appreciation to life. And to your point, for me, I'm a huge kid. And I've never lost my state of play.
So good.
I've never lost the state of play. And because I see life differently, and I'm appreciative of the fact that God still has me here for a purpose, with a purpose, so I can create things on purpose.
That's right.
And because of that, I don't have to have that hunger that I had that you're mentioning when growing up on the streets or as a high school dropout. I have that innate hunger because I look at everybody around me and I say, there's so much more, and I see a light in you that I want to bring out so that you can either create it, nurture it, scale it, leverage it, or share it with somebody.
For some people, even just discover it.
Most people, they look at performers and they're in awe of what we do.
Yeah.
And performers will look at business owners or entrepreneurs, and we're in awe of what they do. It's like we both share skills that mixed together, it makes like a superhuman.
That's right.
And coming out from entertainment into the personal development space and seeing so many people walk around the world blending like wallpaper when they were designed to shine like superstars, but yet they just exist. They don't have a zest for life. They're good enough just making a lot of money, building businesses, being in the mediocre relationship that they're in.
That's right.
And that's just enough. I believe that our Creator put us here to live in a massive amount of abundance in every aspect of our life.
Amen. That's so true. I think so many people are walking around with that scarcity mindset. What is either a program or a book that you would recommend to somebody to kind of help them start to transform and change their mind? Because Secrets of the Millionaire Mind was a huge one for me. Chet Holmes' book, Secrets, Ultimate Sales Machine was another huge one for my career. Traction by Gino Wickman. Like those are big books, but what for you as a performer, as somebody that's coming from your background and that's now helping youth, what's a book that everybody should read?
Tony Robbins, Unleash the Giant Within. I would say also The 7 Habits of Highly Successful People by Stephen Covey.
Yep.
Obviously Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Yep.
Ironically enough that you're asking me about books and I'm actually geeking geeking out right now, like a little high school girl.
Yeah.
Because I did not read all the way up until 2018. I only read one book cover to cover growing up.
Wow.
Because I thought it wasn't cool to do.
That's right.
And I just couldn't sit still long enough to read a book.
Uh-huh.
But when I got into the whole transformation space and heard that leaders are readers, and I got my first book, I'm proud to talk about books and recommend books and say, I got a library at home of over 250 books now.
There you go.
Not read all of them, but on the way.
That's right. Yeah, they call that shelf help versus self help. Yeah, I've had plenty of that. And we're all guilty of that, right? I read a lot of books, but I buy books faster than I can possibly read them. My wife's like, when are you going to read all these? I'm like, I'll get to it. We got a long time to go. You know?
Yeah.
So I think it's really important. Readers are leaders and leaders are readers, right?
Absolutely.
So my next thing that I was thinking about just a minute ago that I think would be really valuable for people is not just the next step of youth, but what does JJ want for JJ's future? What do you want for your life?
Excellent question, because I actually wrote a book about it. It's actually just recently hit Amazon bestseller. It's called Next Life Next. And it's actually the next step to your next life.
Wow.
And what I want for me and for anybody listening and for anybody that is in that place where they're just tired of being sick and tired, I believe that we can make transformation as fast as you can snap your finger.
Yep.
It's by making that not just a decision, but what Tony Robbins calls a resolve, understanding that it's already done. And the book that I wrote with my partner, Marja.
Simon?
Yes.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
I love her.
That's my bestie and my roommate and my co-author. She's a brilliant human being.
She's brilliant.
We wrote this book with our mothers in mind.
Wow.
And I think that this is important because for both of us, the one person we wanted to help, being in the transformational space, being coaches, the one person that we could not reach was our mothers.
Yep.
And when we wrote this book, it was like, how can we reach a person that has no clue about the world that we're in and what steps to take, but know that they ultimately just have hit that threshold, that they hate where they're at, and they wish they were somewhere else. So that's where the birth of Next Life Next is. And for me, I'm always thinking about what is my next life next. I always sit in gratitude and appreciate where I'm at.
Yeah.
And I pay homage to God, because without God, I would not be here and I would not be able to create or help transform other people's lives. However, I always have the next plan in mind, because if I can stay 2, 3, 5 steps ahead of anybody else, I'll be able to help inspire more people along the way.
That's a beautiful thing. Yeah, my book is Design Your Future for that thing. So we
See,
have so many.
we got so much in
We're
common.
vibing, bro. We're vibing so much. So every episode I want to make sure that we challenge the people that are listening to this, that are watching this, to go out and make a difference. Go love somebody today, right? So what would be your challenge for the people that are listening to this that we're going to make them go do? All right, they're going to go do it. They're going to report back, we'll be swimming with the fishes, right? They're going to go do it. So what's your challenge for them?
Okay, this is amazing. I love that you asked that. No one's ever asked that. I actually do this in my coaching programs or to my clients. It's called Find Your Message. So the objective is, I would encourage you for it not to be money, but to make a meal. Make 3 meals, okay? You make 3 meals. You package them up nicely, and the meals are for 2 people, okay? You go out into the world, into your neighborhood. Obviously, be safe.
Yep.
But scan a place where you find people that are homeless. And the objective is that you're going to find your gift. And if you're in tune with wherever you are in your life, there's some kind of message that the universe has to give you. And these meals are where you go and kind of the universe meter is going to direct you to a person. And when you find that person, go and sit down and ask to share a meal with them. Beautiful. Have some cash and say, can I interview you? Can I pay you to interview you?
I want to hear your story.
I want to hear your story.
Oh, wow.
Right? So you're letting them know that they're a human being. You're being able to give them the blessing of getting paid for a service.
That's right.
Kind of like if we were to integrate them back into life.
That's right.
And just break bread and ask glorious questions, not for you, but to hear them. Right? And you do that 3 times, and I don't know how it works, but it works every single time. You walk away with your gift and your message from something that you heard from someone that you met that will instantly change your life if you make the choice to pay attention to the words, remove your ego.
right.
Don't film it. It's not about, getting clout, but it's really about sharing space with somebody because there's greatness within all of us.
Amen.
And there's greatness everywhere.
That's right. Yeah, you don't need to film it or even do any of that. Just be there and be present with that person, right? Well, I want to share something really quick before we end. That's your guys' challenge. We're going to come back to this in a second, but I was driving downtown Sacramento into an area where there's a lot of homeless recently, and I had my daughter, who's 5 years old, on my show, on Love Gangster. So the next day after I came back from San Diego, came up with the idea in the shower for Love Gangster. 24 hours later, I had launched a show, started doing interviews. After my third interview, my daughter saw, she's like, I want to be on your show. And I'm like, oh, great, a 5-year-old on a podcast. This is going to be interesting. So I do the interview with her. She's like, help homeless people. That was her challenge. She wanted to help the homeless people, feed homeless people all over the world. So then about 2 weeks later, we're driving through downtown Sacramento. We get to the East Sac kind of area. It's really run down. And there's this whole row of people that are homeless on the streets. And they got chairs and tents and just all kinds of stuff. And we were driving down, and she looks over and she's, Daddy. I was like, what? She goes, you see all that stuff over there? I was like, yeah. She's like, I know how they got all that stuff. I was like, what? She's like, they heard our podcast, Love Gangster, and people bought them all that stuff. And I was like, you got it, bun. That's exactly what happened. Is they heard your episode and they were so moved they bought them all this stuff that they have. She's like, that makes my heart so happy. And I was just like, just to know that just even that one little podcast episode, whether anybody listens to it or not, right? Just I wanted to spark some joy that we're listening to this. And for you, I knew that would be impactful. But you heard him. Make a meal, break bread, and be there. Give them some cash and just say, hey, tell me your story and show them that they matter, right? That's what God's called us to do. It's what's in the Bible. It's what's in a lot of different religions. Go out there and serve somebody that needs to be served. And I want you to report back. I want to hear your story. Make a video, share it with us on social media, and report back. I'll be swimming with the fishes. JJ, man, this is awesome. As always, as to be expected.
You know what? And just for the record, that was not planned. We just have a lot of synchronicities.
That's
and
right.
The fact that you've got Love Gangster coming from being a former gangster on the streets to being able to be on a podcast that is Love Gangster. God works in mysterious ways.
It really does. So that's this episode. We'll see you guys on the next one. I'm Adrian Boysel. JJ.
I'm JJ Villar.
And keep looking up.
Came here to fill the void. I am love.